They're real, I swear. Ten years I've been doing my podcast. Always this song. It's true, look it up. As far back as you look at my video, you'll hear this track. I love it. What? R8RBEAR! Woo! Load the shotgun! Bang! What's up, fam? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR and my peeps. Welcome. Let's go! Saltante Oso, that bear you all know, out of hibernation to entertain Raider Nation. What? You heard me. Often imitated, never duplicated. That fool with no hair, that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! The R8RBEAR! Sup? No, don't get mad at me. Close your windows. Okay? Shut the baby's door. Okay? I'm loud, but you notice everybody's starting to shout now. Everybody's trying to, come on, man. I was doing this 10 years. Nobody was making noise. Nobody was shouting. Now all of a sudden, everybody got something to shout about. Yeah. Put butts in them. Everybody knows who the original is. I don't have to say it, so I won't. How you like my new border? I've actually got a few different ones my guy's been helping me with, and I had to go with Max Crosby because, the Condor's kind of my guy. That's my dude. I love Ashton Genty. I know I'm going to love me more when he plays, but to me, it's all down in the line, man. You know what I mean? It's all down the line. You win and lose on the line. And if you don't build that in your team, you're not going to be for real. You're going to bounce around and do things like the Chargers do, win a lot of useless games, put up a lot of useless yards in between the 20s, a score here and there, and then lose and not be good enough. Or get to the playoffs and get beat. I don't want a team like that. I want what we're building right now. Girl, I told you to stop coming in here when I'm doing my show, god dog it. I haven't let it go all the way to the gong in a while, so I want to let it go all the way to the gong. What's up, fam? Again, welcome to the show. Appreciate you all. As always, tuning into what? What bear? Tradish! Oh, wait, what? Mama Bear has a question. Hold on. What? Oh, I don't, you know what? Maybe I do. Hold on. This is a very important matter that I'm dealing with during my show. I swear, this is a very important matter of life and death that I'm dealing with. It might be in the cushion. It's not in my pockets. Maybe I set it down in our bedroom. I don't know. You're getting way too personal with my audience right now. What just happened? Tradish! R8RBEAR Live! First comment. Woo! MVP tonight goes to... Wait a second. Let me turn this off. That Moji making son of a gun! The two-belt champion, Mark Bardis! What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. Second place, my YouTube family. S.A. Big Dog! Come on, S.A. You're never going to hear your name announced like that. Not like that. Not that good. You know what I mean? You could go on right now to become a heavyweight fighter or go to MMA or something like that, and you'll still never get that. Not like that. Third place, my bronze medal goes to John the Lion Leon! Can anyone hear the extra bass in my voice? It's only because I've actually gotten a little bit of rest and I've been hanging around with Mama Bear too much. Because when you get a little bit of Mama Bear, make that mean what you will. Okay, Facebook. What's up, my Facebook people? Ooh, the budding rivalry continues. First place, gold medalist, the world heavyweight champion, reigning, defending, Carlos Boykins. Carlos, I'm just saying to you too, Carlos, you're never going to get your name announced like that. It's just never going to happen. Not again. Second place, my silver medal goes to that silver-tongued, sultry son of a gun, Lucky Pace! Great guy. Gotta meet him. Third place, my bronze medal goes to, I don't even know. Who is Jim Garrison! What's up, Jim? Welcome to Jim G. I like that. What's up, Jim G? Welcome to the show. Always there for Red and Bear. Honorable mention goes out to David Pelkliva and Joe Holman. What's up, Joe? Welcome to the show. One of my new favorite viewers. Marvin Suarez, what's up? Welcome to the show. Bob Standard, that's my good friend right there. What's up, Bob? Chris Strong, love you, man. What's up? Welcome to the show. Tony Make a Dip, love you, man. Welcome to the show. Corinna Trujillo, who reminds me to remind all of you to consider a subscription to Raider Bear Family Page. It's just $5 a month. You can cancel at any time, and that's just on Facebook. But we do a lot with charities all over the world to save lives, and we've been doing it for 10 years. And so we really appreciate your subscriptions because it helps us not only do that, but it helps us also to improve the show with the quality of equipment we have and so on and so forth. So we really appreciate that, and thank you very much. And as far as YouTube, if you're a YouTuber and you haven't hit that thing, what are you doing? Hit that thing. I'm tired of asking. What do you need? It's free, for crying out loud. Trying to create, that internet presence so that more people could get this real NFL knowledge from your boy, Raider Bear. Okay. Now let's get back to what I wanted to get into with you guys. Now I'm going to answer all your questions. I want to say hi to everybody real quick. And then I have some things I want to talk about that I want to get you guys excited about because something happened that isn't being reported very much, and I just think it's cool, so I want to report this. Armand Gonzalez, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Darren Patterson, always there for Raider Bear. Dustin King, woo, legend in the house. Joey Rivera, what's up, Joey? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you. Beto Luna, what's up, Beto? That's my guy right there. Appreciate you, brother. No, you take your Niner stuff and get the hell out of here. Pete Vasquez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Denton Rhodes, Space Force. Tim Newport, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Peggy is giving me the look. I got a Raider onesie for our little prince. One time for Raider Nation's Tim Newport. Peggy, I love you, but Raiders! But Peggy, you keep going on, okay? Peggy, I might remind you that Tim Newport has had nothing but good things to say about you on this show. Oh, it's true. I got you, Tim. Oaktown 17, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Much love to you right back, brother. Yeah, I want to just say real quick, because I have people asking me this question consistently, and so I want to be as serious as I can about this. I really do believe that there is no reason to question that this rebuild will be successful. I don't understand the pessimist in a lot of Raider fans. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand it because we haven't been good in a long time, and then we've kind of teased the fan base with, oh, look what we did. We got Josh Jacobs. Oh, look at this. And then we weren't able to do anything in the period we had Josh Jacobs. And I really thought we were going to be able to do something with Josh because I just thought with that running game, with our defense, now we just need to, get a little bit innovative here and there with the passing game. And we just weren't able to bring it all together. As usual, same song and dance. But looking forward here, This to me is one of those coaches that when you hire him, you recognize that this is what he does. He goes to places that are a renovation project and he goes, I know more football than most people have forgotten. I mean, that have learned their whole lives, okay? And Pete Carroll knows how to come in and find talent and do things. Now, I would say this to you. If you were a great coach and you really know how to coach defensive backs, if you really know how to work with building a defensive secondary. Now, do we know Pete Carroll can do that? Yes, we do. Why do we know this? Because when he built the Legion of Doom, he chose those players himself. He worked with their GM, but he picked those players. He built that defense. And I'm telling you, for one of the rare occasions, you have a guy that knows how to build a defense that wins from the back end, not the front end. In other words, most defenses beat you with Max Crosby and guys on the defensive line. That's where they get you first. That's not what his defense does. He has guys in the secondary that are just playing like ball hawks, all four. Okay, 2 safeties, 2 corners. And then he'll have that nickel every once in a while and play 3 linebackers or play 2 linebackers and have 2 nickels. And he mixes up things and he confuses you. And now we just picked up a guy. His name's Mello Dotson. He's kind of flying under the radar, and I just want to read this to you real quick. Dotson's breakthrough came in 2021 when he started 8 games and his first career interception. A 65-yard return against Duke. Okay, big play, huge game. Now we fast forward, showing improved consistency in both coverage and run support. Then the 2023 season marked Dotson's arrival as an elite playmaker. It was no longer luck or can this kid do it. He led the team with 4 interceptions. He returned 2 of those for touchdowns while also pacing the squad with 11 pass breakups, adding 48 tackles to earn 3rd on the team in tackles. Amongst defensive linemen and linebackers, he was 3rd on the team in tackles. Not the safeties, not the free safety whose sole job that is. No, he was up there as a cover corner, 3rd on the team in tackles. That's toughness, okay? That's grit. That's a guy who's got pedigree, a nose for the ball, but he's tough. And now you put that in front of Pete Carroll? Why don't you just tell me he trains Eagles and you're giving me one of the biggest, baddest, fastest, baddest, sweetest, just toughest Eagles there is. And now you're giving me that to this guy who knows everything about these? That's what we're doing right now in this secondary. And that's how I try to explain what this Raider roster is doing. Although I want to be clear, that's why I'm so excited, and I want you to be more excited about this too. Because remember, we've already started rebuilding the defensive line. Tonka Hemingway is being talked about as potentially the steal of the draft as a late round pick. A tough, gritty defensive lineman that has a quick start, great hand fighter. He's going to be a very good player. Then J.J. Pegas, that guy looks really tough. He looks really good. Scouts rave about him. You look at his stats. The only reason why he's not one of those guys that was picked higher up because he didn't play that much. He didn't have as many numbers and snaps as some of these other players. But bottom line, the skill set he'll bring to the pros. I mean, and we haven't even gone into the offensive linemen with Grant and so on. Super excited. Just super excited. And by the way, I just wanted to bring this up real quick before I go back to your questions and things like that, and I'll bring up some other stuff we have to talk about because I have so much to cover with you guys. I really do, because I had a couple nights off, and when I get a couple nights off, what happens is instead of my normal day or two that I do research and then I come on and do my show, I'm doing 2 or 3 days worth of research, and now it's like I have 3 shows worth of information, and I can't get it all out. There's been a new article. It's all in Spanish. It's about it's about Malcolm Kuntz and how he's getting the opportunity of his lifetime. How this is one of those 1 year prove it, make it or break it kind of contracts. And there's a lot of excitement around it. I don't know why it's specifically to like Telemundo Spanish kind of thing, but it is. And from what my little tiny bit of Spanish is telling me, I can tell they're saying positive things about it. There's also on, what is this, Bleacher Report. On Bleacher Report, there's a report on predictions for rookie stats coming into the year. They talked about Ashton Jeanty. Instead of me reading it to you, I'll just let you know. Go check that out. It's beautiful. It's on Bleacher Report. It's all about stat predictions for top rookie running backs in 2025. They expect Ashton Jeanty to lead the class. Now, one of the biggest arguments they made against Ashton Jeanty, and you may have heard about this recently, was that he had a terrible game against Penn State, and Penn State runs a style of defense that's similar to what they run in the NFL. And that might be an indicator that against a pro-style shifting defense that gives you one look and then shows you another at snap of the ball, can he read and recognize those things, make that recognition in those 2 to 3 seconds where he's, doing his step, quarterback turns, he gets the ball 2 seconds in, now he's at 3 seconds doing a little shiftiness, seeing the hole, and hitting it or moving if it's not there, that sort of thing. Can he see what's going on in that amount of speed? I would say, honestly, I think he can. The guy's that athletic, but at the same time, I think Pete Carroll is going to try to beat it into his head that, I want a guy, when I tell you this is going right, go right. You know what I mean? Even if you see someone there, expect someone on the line to pick him up. Maybe the fullback in front of you. Maybe the tight end's going to roll over and Brock Bowers is going to lock him up because Brock Bowers can block on top of everything else he can do. I want to call Brock Bowers the $6 million man, even though he's worth way, way more than that. But he reminds me of that old guy in the TV show. I can't remember his name now. Lee Majors, I think it was. But he was the star of the Bionic Man when it was the original way, way, way back, and he kind of looks just like him. Much love right back, Oaktown 17. Mama Bear, Mark Vargas, and Chris Strong said hi. She said hi back, guys. Ellis Irving, hey, my Raider brother, it's time for some football. Ellis Irving, and what I'm most excited about is it's really feeling like it's going to be Raider football. You know what I mean? Where we win with defense, run the ball, pass to, our guys, but it's more selective with the passing. In other words, our passing should be a Swiss Army knife. And why shouldn't it when you look at the roster? Okay? We brought in the wide receiver. The guy's... Dude, this Dante kid, he is delicious. Speed, size, hands... He's the whole pedigree, okay? Then we got our kid coming back. That was our number 1 last year. He'll probably get moved to the 2. Okay, then you got Tucker and all these other guys. Okay, now you add Michael Mayer coming back with something to prove, okay? Because as far as I'm concerned, Michael Mayer was that close to being traded. And I'm still not completely comfortable with saying he's going to be on the roster when we start the season. Because, it got discussed, guys. And I'm talking about by Raider people in the organization who just didn't want to give their names. I'll give a quote on condition of anonymity. You can't use my name. But they made it very clear that the team was getting very frustrated with the fact that Michael Mayer was gone from the team for so long. And it wasn't actually an injury. You know what I'm saying? You're getting paid too much money, man. If your dad dies, your mom, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, you take a day or two, you mourn that, and then you get back to work. And I know that might sound cruel, but he accepted a contract. He has a job. He has to go to work. There are some of us that just have to go to work. Okay, I don't think it disrespects the dead to do that. And more importantly, he has an off season. When the off season comes, then do all that. Visit the grave more and go put flowers there more, sit down on the ground, eat lunch, talk to your mom or dad or whoever you lost. That's what I did. AP, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Oh, we must be getting close to the season. Are we within 100 days? I think it's 99 days or 98 days now, something like that, until the season starts. That's crazy. That almost seems fast. Troy Gill, what's up? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear and always wants the Bear to tell him what's new. Anthony Penn said ESPN rated the Raiders as most improved team. Well, because for the first time, we've brought in a coach that doesn't have question marks. Think about that. The only real question mark against Pete Carroll is he too old? And the answer is no, because his acumen is still there. Have you seen him getting interviewed? The guy, he's sharp as a tack. Is he old? Yeah, so what? I've always said this. Do you want a young mechanic or an old one? You know what I mean? Do you want a guy that's right out of college or right out of whatever school he went to? Or do you want the guy that's been greasy in a garage for the last 15 years? I want that guy. You know what I mean? That's the coach I want too. Now, I'm not saying that getting Ben Johnson, the former Lions coach that we were interested in, wouldn't have been good. Of course it would have. But Am I happy with Pete Carroll? 1,000%. And what he brings is a genuine rebuild that I believe this is working. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Now, I want to pump the brakes on just one thing. We're going to have a good season. But I just, even if there's like a bad news Bears effect and all these Raiders pan out and everyone we brought in works out and everything comes together, we still got to see what Geno's going to give us. You know what I mean? And the Geno stuff, it's on shaky ground, guys. It just really is. You know, his 2022, 2023, those 2 seasons, he was great. I mean, like, really good. He shook off the reputation he had as kind of a high-rated bust player that just never, you know, came to fruition where he was originally drafted and with the team he was originally drafted with. And then with Seattle, he had this resurgence with Pete Carroll. Then fast forward 2024, 2025, not so much. 2024, excuse me. 2024, not so much. He didn't have as great a year. Now, I would argue that part of that was the turmoil in Seattle. People were leaving. Guys were getting traded. You know, anyone that resembles anything that had to do with Pete Carroll winning before isn't on the roster anymore. And so, and as, you know, Pete Carroll isn't either. And so that team is in rebuild flux. So I want to blame some of that on the Geno Smith numbers coming down. You know what I mean? It wasn't too bad. It wasn't like it was monstrous. He didn't go from like 7 interceptions to 26 or something crazy like that. But it was just a fall off on production. I'm hoping to see him get that back together. Carlos, what's up, man? Hey, Bear, any new news on the potential signings of Asante Samuels or Amari Cooper? I know the Asante Samuel thing is being discussed. The Amari Cooper thing, not as much. I don't think the Amari Cooper thing is going to happen. I don't know why this is, but there's just too many guys that they are former players with a team, and all of a sudden we're supposed to, how do I say this? We're supposed to bring that guy back if he's been gone for the last 6 seasons or whatever. You know what I mean? If he's been gone that long, why would I want the oldest version of that guy that's no longer on the team? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Sorry, you guys. I see some guys kind of being a douche. I don't know. But I'm okay with that. I have a few people that are just kind of straight hating on me, and when they get blocked, they ask their friends to come in and do this stuff, and I just kind of okay, man. That's why you notice I'm not commenting on it. I'm not reading it. I don't get into all that. But to me, that's kind of childish. If you want to come on here and call me names and stuff, you don't even know me. I mean, come on, man. You know, you disagree with what I'm saying, that's cool. But we start using foul mouth language and you start talking trash. You know what I mean? What do you want to do? Do you want me to go, well, I'll kick your butt too? You know? Come on, man. I'm a grown-up. I'm excited. I just want the players to get through the offseason healthy and ready to ball out. The only guys we really got to worry about in that regard is Christian Wilkins right now with his foot. The word on Christian Wilkins is not good right now. If you pressed anyone to give you information about him right now, it probably wouldn't be good. Like if it was someone that knew him, you know, or a fellow player that knows the extent of his injuries, the news is not good. Now, will he be ready for the start of the season? Personally, I don't think so. And if we do see him, I'll be concerned because it may be one of those things where the player's saying, "Hey, I don't want to default. You know, I don't want the team to consider cut, trade, whatever. So I'm gonna get a shot, tape the hell out of this foot, and go out there and try to get her done." And I'd hate to see him do that. To me, honestly, that sometimes is a 6-year career getting cut to 4 because you didn't respect your body. Lee Majors, thank you, Mark Vargas. Confirmation. I think I did say Lee Majors. I think I did. Eric Jett, thank you. Yes, it is 100 days till Raider football. It's looking like we'll have Michael Mayer. I'm convinced he's locked in. You know, Raider Devilian, I agree with that now. I really do. I just don't know what happened. Whatever it was, I think Mayer did the smart thing. Just come in, fall on your sword, say my bad, now watch me work. If you give me a chance, I'll prove I'm here, I'm ready to go. I hope that's what happened. You know, and like what I was saying as far as mourning loved ones, he just may be one of those guys that can't handle that. You know what I mean? That just can't handle what I was saying and actually needs a month or a week or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, I don't have any problem with that. I just understand why the organization might have had a problem with that. A lot of people are excited about Darian Porter. I'm excited about Dante Thornton. Dude can develop into a star. The Dante Thornton thing, I think the only thing that will stop him is injuries. That's it. I think that's the only thing that will stop him. I don't think cover corners are going to be able to do it. I don't think coverages are going to be able to do it because of his speed and his size. He's going to be able to take the top off and be able to play jump balls with defensive backs that are going to, I don't want to say 90% of the time, but probably 75% of the time, he's going to be taller than the defensive back he's up against. You know what I mean? I think that's a fair number. About 75. Because you don't see too many 6 foot plus tall defensive backs because you need them to be, jitter quick. And usually guys that get into my frame, 6'3", 200 pounds, you're not jitter quick. I'm fast, but I've never been jitter quick. You know what I mean? And I am fast, honestly, but not like that. And it's just a long leg thing. It's like Clydesdales against normal horses. Raider fan, what's up? Welcome to the show, brother. Joe, what's up? How about Dylan Laube? Do you think he's going to have any kind of significant role even on special teams? Now, on special teams, Joe, yes. And I'm hoping that he'll get to stand out a little bit more like he did last year and the year before that in practice where he was really getting an opportunity to show people what he can do. See, to me, Dylan Laube's, and this is unfortunate, I just think Dylan Laube is, what do you call this? Dylan Laube is I don't want to use this term because it sounds bad, but he's a one-trick pony. You know what I mean? I love Dylan Laube. I've shouted his praises since we were talking about him when we got him and we brought him in. I saw tape on him. I love Dylan Laube. He is a red zone ninja. Everything that Hunter Renfrow used to give us, he can give us. I'm telling you. He just has that right, left, and you give him the ball, man, and then like a video game, he has that vision where he knows just the right speed to run to where he's not running into his blockers and letting them set themselves up and guiding through. And he has great vision. I really want to see him get opportunities. I really do. But I have confidence that Pete Carroll will see that. I really do. And nothing against AP, but I think Pete Carroll will see that. Colin Cowherd says that Geno is a top 5 game changer going into the season. Well, AP, now, I don't often agree with Colin Cowherd, I'll be honest with you. And even in this instance, I'm tentatively excited. I feel like Geno Smith is a very capable quarterback. He showed that he has a hell of a touch on the deep ball. He's gotten a lot smarter. He's cut down on his interceptions. Does he still make mistakes? Absolutely. Okay, we're not bringing in a guy that's all pro. Okay, he's good with flashes of very good with that arm. And so if we do what I think we're going to do with this offensive line and keep him on his feet and just give him a second, I do feel like he feels his best when he can walk through his delivery and then get that 1-2 and throw step forward. Now, obviously, you could argue every quarterback likes that, but I think with him it's important. I think he likes to visualize things and then go 1-2 and let it go. And when he has to do things off his back foot or standing flat, not as good. Why would we want Cooper back? We saw what he is. Well, Tim Newport, I'm trying to say it nicely without insulting anyone who may be watching who really likes Amari Cooper. You know what I mean? Because there are Raider fans that that will die on a hill about how much they love Derek Carr. Even though he brought us nothing, and happened to compare himself to Joe Montana today. I was like, what did you just say? I mean, it's one thing to bring up another quarterback and say, I feel like I'm achieved because I was better than that guy. And he meant better by he passed him in yards. That's it. He didn't say anything else. He just said, hey, man, I passed that guy in yards, so I feel like I had a pretty confirmed career. Do you realize you mentioned a guy that most people universally agreed was the greatest quarterback of all time before that Tommy guy that's owning our team minority-wise? They considered Joe to be maybe the greatest quarterback of all time. You gotta be kidding me. Come on, Derek. Stay in your lane. Bring up Dan Fouts. Why not Dan Fouts? Remember the old fat Charger? He never won a ring, but he threw for a ton of yards. He's in the Hall of Fame. Derek will probably be in the Hall of Fame. It's a joke now, so. Who's calling you names and how dare you? This man's cool and gentleman. I am proud to call him my friend. Troy, I really appreciate that, brother. But it's okay. Don't sweat guys like that. I don't even sweat guys like that. He's allowed to be mad. He's allowed to not like my show. I don't have any problem with that. I didn't like his face. See, now you went and made me blast him, see? Good night to you, brother. Geno is not top 5. He could maybe one day, but 21 touchdowns and 15 interceptions with 6 fumbles. No playoff wins is not elite, and I'm not sure how that's top 5 in the NFL. I sure hope is, though. Well, Raiders Rebel, welcome again. Welcome to the show. I'm sorry, I don't think I greeted you already. But welcome to the show. And Raider Rebel, I would say this to you. I already said he's not elite. We're in agreement. But where we differ paths is only on, I think that he can be what he was in 2022, 2023 when he was much better. If he gets with Pete, which he's done, now he has that coach that he's already built, not just a familiarity, but you know how it is sometimes. Sometimes quarterbacks and their coaches, they don't get along. And Geno and Pete really get along well. And so having said that, I could see him flourishing with an opportunity in a Chip Kelly offense that's going to be, Chip Kelly's going to put some stuff in there that we're going to like, that we're going to see some wrinkles of roll this guy left, throw right, throw this guy right, lateral it left. We're going to do, and they're not going to be, gimmick flea flicker plays. These are going to be plays that are designed to just beat certain defenses, period. And I think they're going to sit on Brock Bowers. I really do. I think what we found in Brock Bowers might be a Super Bowl. And I mean that seriously. I think Brock Bowers is that good, guys. I think what we saw last year, we don't realize how good Brock Bowers was. That was his rookie season, and he played as well or better than any tight end in NFL. Think of in the NFL in his first year. Think about that. Think about that. To come into the NFL, the most elite of elites, and you're at the top of your game as a rookie, leading up there with the guys that have been in the league for years. I find that really impressive. I think that I think there's a chance Brock Bowers ends up being our best player on offense. Him and Ashton Ginty, it's going to be an argument, if Ashton starts off the way I think he will. I hate calling him Ashton. That's like the worst first name ever. To be fair to AP, every time he got an opportunity, he fumbled the ball. He had 2 carries, and both times gave it to the other team. I got you there. Well, S.A. Big Dog, didn't you see it? He just had kind of a smushed face. And then he had this weird brown scarf all scrunched on his face. He looked like a turd with a face on it. I mean, I'm just trying to be fair. Steven Shaw, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Where have you been? What's your button here? Fouts was a stone-cold baller. Air Coryell was legendary. Carr is nowhere near Fouts. Well... Look, I pace. Pun foots in him. Lucky, I'm just trying to be nice. I mean, the guy compared himself to Joe Montana. I was trying to bring him down a few hundred notches on that hill, and I felt like Dan Fouts, even as good as he was, is still 100 notches below that. You know what I mean? He's not even Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner just showed up after working at a grocery store and said, "Oh, I get an opportunity. Fling, 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 touchdown." Super Bowl. Colin was saying that Geno was a game changer in Chip Kelly's offense, not top 5 elite player. Again, AP, we're not in disagreement. I'm not saying that. That's what ESPN's predicting. Now, I think they're predicting it, though, because what if we take everything that Geno Smith has been able to do in a positive sense and do this? If he throws the deep ball, okay, and sometimes it's for interceptions and sometimes it's not. Let's say every 10th deep ball he gets an interception, then maybe we only cut him down to 10 throws, or maybe 8. Now maybe we cut all those interceptions out because he's not forcing the ball. We're only asking him to throw it when it's really there. Otherwise, you dump it down to Brock, or you hit one of our running backs coming out of the edges, on the right or the left, and dump it off and let him get a few yards, like a running play that you throw through the air. Oh, and Chris Strong, you know what? I'm Raider slapping myself in the face. I didn't bring up Jack Besh. Jack Besh has been one of the stars. What out of OTAs, the coaches were impressed with the fact that he has a kind of a bulky frame, but he's still fast, has great footwork and great hands. Jack Besh. Look at these names we brought in. You're matching Jack Besh, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Dante. Ashton Genty, the offensive lineman we've brought in. This coming season, we're gonna be legit. Teams are gonna see us. We're gonna win games. We're gonna dethrone the Chiefs. I feel like we can win the division. I really do, and it's gonna be a party. But once we get there, it might be tough. It might be tough because you're still dealing with a lot of young pieces that just got on the team. There's going to be growth pain mistakes that get made. Missed responsibilities, et cetera, and, you just have to live with those things. And if you can minimize those things, maybe we win, get to the playoffs, maybe get out of the first round even. But I don't expect anything spectacular, not out of year one. See, spectacular would be a Super Bowl. I don't expect that. You can't even think like that this early in this process. But does everything look on the, it's like a stock that's just doing this. You know what I mean? And every day you wake up, that stock is doing this. Well, why shouldn't I be optimistic if every single day this stock keeps doing this? It just keeps rising. Well, hell, I mean, I'm ready to invest, and I'm all in. Tana Moku also reminds you all, and I appreciate this, Tana, that Bowers did all that with terrible quarterback play. I mean, what's he going to do now? And I would be willing to bet you a turkey dinner, okay, on Thanksgiving, that Geno Smith's gonna sit on Brock Bowers, man. Brock Bowers might lead the league in catches. I'm serious. That's what I'm saying. He has a chance to be a top 5 this year. To put I'm in that category now is insane to me. Raider Rebel, again, completely agree. Hope you're enjoying the show. Much love. Appreciate the comments. Yeah, Penn State. That game was where Ashton Genty, Raider Rebel, that was one of the games where he had his struggles. And I don't understand why do we need the guy to have a perfect college career? Why does he have to be good in every single game? Why couldn't there have been a game where he just didn't play well? Maybe he didn't like the footing on the field. Maybe he had a cold that day. Maybe his stomach was upset. I don't know. Maybe he had a migraine. But you're giving me one game? That's why we should be concerned if maybe Ashton Genty can, ascend at the next level. I'm sorry, I see Ashton Genty ascending at the next level. I hate his first name, though. I hate it. Sounds like a spoiled preppy or surfer. Derek Carr is more like Jeff Hostetler. But wait a minute, didn't Jeff Hostetler win a Super Bowl? So he's not like him. That's the whole point. More Andy Dalton or Kirk Cousins light. Wow. That was hard. Lucky Pace. Okay, first, I know Lucky Pace is smiling ear to ear. Second, he's probably laughing at his ceiling because he just said that he's not even Kirk Cousins. He's Kirk Cousins light. That is rough, man. Hey, man, I would give a lot to be Kirk Cousins, okay? I would take Kirk Cousins' career right now. Have you seen how much money that man's made? He probably has the best agent in sports history, next to maybe Bobby Bonilla. And if you don't know the Bobby Bonilla contract story, look it up on YouTube. It'll drop your jaw. Bobby Bonilla has been out of the league for like 20 years. He's still getting payments right now from the Mets. Seriously. He deferred like his contract into like this retirement plan that he gets paid off for as long as he's alive. It's incredible. I don't know who that dude is we were talking about, but that was giving you crap. But send them my way. I like to dance, if you know what I mean. Joe, I appreciate that, brother. I have many, big brothers like yourself. I would love to add you to the list, but I won't really ask you to do too much. That's not my way. I just like knowing I have those big brothers. Vicky Ginn! Vicky Ginn is, she's like legendary around here. You know what I mean? She gets the shout, Vicky Ginn! Whether she gives me stars because I just noticed she did or not, she always gets the shout out. That little brat she had does not, though. Yeah, you know I'm talking to you, too. What are you, 11 now? Go to school. What are you doing up at this hour? I was so close to believing a clickbait that said the shady one was going to come out of retirement. Adios mio. No, that's not happening. Ginty will take a lot of pressure off of Smith. Chris, that's really what I was kind of getting at, and I got off point. What we're going to need to do with Gino is minimize mistakes by minimizing his responsibility. If we, instead of having him throw the ball 40 times a game, we have him throw the ball 30 times a game. And we add those other 10 snaps to other running backs on the field and add some carries for them from those downs and just keep his downs, his mistakes in check from that, where we only ask him to be great here and then run the ball. Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, run the ball. Short pass to one of our wide receivers, throw to Dante over the top, etc. But you mix it up, and I think this time we have the personnel to really, and the offense to actually mix it up. It ain't Ginty didn't play well against Penn State, but Penn State's defense led by Carter was all that. Yeah, and Joe, but see, that's what they're arguing is that if in the one team that he faced an elite defense, he struggled. You know what I mean? But I think that had as much to do with Boise State playing a better Penn State team. That's all. Gino was top 5 in yards and completion percentage for the second time in 3 years, 2002 and 2024. Yeah, and Anthony Penn, I'm not trying to shortchange Geno Smith. There's just a lot there. You know what I mean? There's a lot there. He came in with very high expectations. He did not reach those at all. He had a fight in his own locker room with one of his own teammates who broke his jaw and ended his season. Then he came back and then was traded, was just kind of, and then he suddenly got his stuff together with Pete Carroll and took off with the Seahawks, and now he's ours. And so I think there's a chance there that the evolution that he found in his career by bringing the same head coach, he's going to get the same opportunity, that same long leash that a quarterback needs. If you're going to a new coach, you don't know how long he's going to trust you as a quarterback. If you don't get out there and play great wide away and get him wins, there's no telling when he pulls you. Whereas Geno Smith with Pete Carroll, Pete Carroll's letting him know, go out there and get him, kid. And that's it. There is no pull you out. Unless you play like literally horrendous, he's not going to pull Geno out. Even if he makes mistakes, he's going to give him an opportunity. I believe that. Oh, right on. Vicky, how exciting. Got to meet him. That's cool. I am putting foots in him essay. He had a breakout game versus Oregon's defense. Yeah, Ramiro, see, now that's another good counterpoint because Oregon had a decent defense, and so he had I think those things sort of balance each other out. Mark Vargas says, Derek Carr, once a Raider, always a Raider. Mark, I agree with that, but he needs to stay in his lane. Don't try to rewrite history. He seems like he's trying to rewrite history. You know what I mean? Just don't rewrite history, bro. Just you have a beautiful wife, you have beautiful kids, you have all the money that God could ever provide. Just you know what I mean? I'm asking all of you. Just be honest for a second. Would you ever talk to a reporter again if you had $90 million in the bank, a beautiful wife or husband, and you can just walk off into the sunset with your kids and go live in Aruba? I don't know why I picked Aruba, but I like Aruba. But that's what I would do. I would never. Why even talk? Why talk about Joe Montana and stuff like that? What are you talking about? Vicky, again, you're at work. That little brat escapes me yet again. Jerry Molina, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. I just called him the kid, little brat. Oh, he's so. I love that kid. Any kid that at 9 years old comes in my house, looks at me, and then starts hitting on my wife at 9. I like that kid. Don't tell him I said that. I'm not a crazy car lover, but if they had ever given a decent O-line and a decent, not great defense in the same year, I don't know. Tim, Derek Carr to me is just one of the hardest athletes to really he's one of the hardest athletes to talk about. You know what I mean? See, because we forget there are times when he was just bad. You know what I mean? Where he just made mistakes. There were times where he had opportunities to do heroic things and failed. You know, and I don't want to rewrite history. I know he's not here now. Once a Raider, always a Raider. I got no problem with him. He hasn't said anything bad about the organization, and that's when the once a Raider, always a Raider thing is deleted when you start talking bad about the organization. You know what I mean? Kelechi Osemele, we used to call him KO. He's one of our offensive linemen. Back in the day when Kelechi Osemele left the team, he went right to the Jets and then went right to a podcast and was talking trash about us within 2 days. I couldn't believe it, and I mean like talking garbage. Talked garbage about our front office. Talked garbage about our fans. Our fans. Come on, man. You know what I mean? I just, you do that. You know, I'm not doing that whole once a Raider, always a Raider stuff. Not with that. And like, for example, like Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs didn't denounce the Raiders. He just made the ultimate mistake, you know, and took a life. But he's once a Raider, always a Raider. He didn't. You know what I mean? I feel like he embarrassed the franchise. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean we should, you know, forget about him. I don't agree with that. Vicky is a R8RBEAR family legend. Speak to it, Chris Strong, right? Saw an article suggesting that Brady may play in the Olympics. You know, Tana, I don't see a problem with that because the only reason is it's flag football. If it was actual tackle football, you know, you can't do that. But with what he can do with a ball, and that they can't hit him, and all he has to do is time the distance from when they get there to, you know, reaching on his belt loop, and when they snap him the ball, if he takes a 7-step drop, I mean, it's going to be real hard to get to Tom Brady. I mean, it was, you had a hard time beating that guy when he was at his best at real football. Now with, you know, mess around in the backyard flag football, you think you're going to get him? I think he would be great, to be honest with you. I hate to admit that, but he'd probably be great. He'd probably be able to go right on the field with the guys, say, okay, we're going to run this, we're going to do that, blah, blah, blah. And every time I go like this, I want you to do this. And every time I go like this, I want you to do this. And if I go like this, I want you to do this. And he'll have them on the right page. That guy, I don't like Tom Brady, but he's a philosopher when it comes to football. He really is. He really is. I will admit that freely. It's just true. He watches so much tape of football, and to the point of it being an obsession. And when you do that, you've seen everything defensive coaches are going to do. You know what I mean? Let's see. LF Gino, he is fresh and can last for at least another 5 years. Oh, Matt, yeah, for sure. And if he plays well, hell, I mean, if we can win a division championship, okay, in either year 1 or year 2, if we win the division in year 1, Pete Carroll's going to get a new deal immediately. You mark my words. If we win the division in year 1, Pete Carroll will get a new contract instantly. Okay, now that's 1. 2, if we're able to win the division one of those first 2 years, he'll re-sign anyway, and we'll get on a run with Geno, and it'll be a blast. And I don't even care. I want a Super Bowl, but if we don't win one, we don't win one. You guys, you have to accept how hard it is to win a Super Bowl nowadays, especially when you've got the league guiding you to one, like it did with the Chiefs last year. All the refs on board. All the games that they were in that were close looked fixed. All of them had sketchy calls that referees in most games would have not made that call. But of course, with the Chiefs, though, they suddenly throw the flag. It was ridiculous. I've often had fans ask me if NFL football is fixed. And I've always said yes, with a caveat, though. Okay? You have to accept when I say it's fixed, it's not the way you think. What I mean is that do they fix it as far as the schedule, and they want certain teams to have kind of a better, you know, leeway to a better path to a Super Bowl? You know what I mean? Yeah, they do that. You know what I mean? They just do. You know what I mean? And then the refs, as the season gets mid-year and you see certain teams that are getting on a roll and they're looking really good, especially if it's the Chiefs, and you may get a three-peat. You know, the idea that, like, Roger Goodell is calling the refs, he doesn't have to do that. The refs themselves can do it. They just get the word, you know, prior to the game, before anyone would see anything. You're not going to see the cheating and figure it out as it's happening on the field, because they'll always just disguise it as calls. And remember, we all of us know, male or female, you can call holding on every single play. There's someone holding someone on every single play. You know what I mean? So it's a discretionary thing that to me is sometimes fixed. Derek had me believing him for 3 years. Not his rookie year. I was done after that. Would have some elite games followed by too many what the F games. Yeah. No. Mama Bear, no. Marlo did not steal Mama Bear's heart. You stop that. That's what I was the most frustrating about Derek. He had everything you'd want in an elite quarterback, showed elite talent, followed by Jamarcus Russell type games. Yeah, he did. He had the arm strength. He was smart. He was accurate most of the time, not always, but sometimes he just wouldn't pull the trigger, and that's as bad as being inaccurate because you can't make a play if you don't make a play. And there were just times where he didn't want to mess with his throwing percentage. I believe that. It's been reported too much. Yeah, Matt Marinovich, I appreciate your comment. I'll be honest with you. I would like to see Derek Carr run camps, quarterback camps. I think that he would be excellent at that. His communication skills, his understanding of football, his years in the NFL, his understanding of what teams want and what coaches want and how to understand what they're asking you to do. You know, there's just aspects of the game that he can bring to young players that they could go through their whole career and not learn. Carr had a 1-year window to greatness. He could have been in a league and a Super Bowl MVP. He got hurt, and that was that. Yeah, it was unfortunate. Wow, Joey Bosa pulled calf muscle, Chargers, wicked smart. Piano Man. Piano Man, he always gets hurt. I've always laughed. I've always said that Joey Bosa only plays the Raiders once a season, even though we play the Chargers twice every year, because he's always hurt for the first one or the second one, every single year, or both. He always misses one. AFC division will be a tough cookie. Piano, I see us and the Broncos. I don't like the Chargers, and I don't like KC. I think KC was in a lot of games, at least 7 last year, that you could argue they should have lost. 7 games that the Chiefs should have lost last year. So if they were that vulnerable last year, there's no reason to argue they wouldn't be a year older, a more injured team coming into this year, and then those games are going to come back to haunt them, I think. I really do. I feel like we didn't do enough to keep Carr upright. Offensive line help. Yeah, I mean, we don't have to relive all that. Chris Strong, I completely agree with you, though. I mean, we didn't put it all in front of Derek Carr. I agree. The only problem I had in the Derek Carr conversation was he started comparing himself to Joe Montana favorably, saying that he passed him in yards. So yeah, I think I had a pretty good career. Don't do that. We don't even care. Pick another Raider quarterback. Anyone. Ken Stabler, okay? Pass anyone you want, okay? Pick anyone you want and tell me what their stats are. Yeah, you can't. And you know why? It's not because you're not smart. It's because we don't care. We're not like a lot of these other fan bases that sit down on, Josh Allen has an 88% completion percentage, and in the last 3 years, I don't care. I want to win. You know what I mean? Our owner raised us on that. We want to win. I don't care about analytics unless it pertains to wins, period. Otherwise, don't come at me with that stuff. I find it boring. You know what I mean? Just win. And I don't care how. If we want to win throwing the ball with 4 men in every pattern, if we can do that, good, let's go. What I call Raider football is winning. I don't care if it's running. I don't care if it's running with defense. I don't care if it's passing with all offense and we can't get our defense right, but we score 44 points a game and win a whole bunch of games by, 4 or 5 points that we probably would have lost in the past were it not for our new offense. For real, though. Tim Newport, the blood between the Raiders and Derek Carr kind of got cold there at the end. I don't know if he comes back to retire with us. I don't know. He may just do it just because the guy's such a PR guy. Derek's always the guy that kind of says this is how you do things if you're classy. You know what I mean? And I give him more credit for that than almost anything he did for the Raiders. If you really think about it, the image of the thug fan, of the thug team that wins by cheap shots and things like that, he got rid of all of that. He got rid of all of that. I give him a lot of credit for the fact that every game, win or lose, he was the first guy up to the podium to say, put it on me, with God, And with luck, I'm going to be able to get this right and get my teammates in a winning position. And it's like, wow, I mean, anybody would want a teammate that does that. I mean, he's taking all the pressure. I mean, he really was doing that. He was taking it all on himself. And we may have gotten sick of hearing him say it, but it was true. I mean, he was saying it's, guys, it's on me. If the defense makes mistakes and gives up a touchdown, I got to go out there and get a touchdown for my club. And if they go out there and they stop the other team and I get the ball, I got to go out there and put points on the board. And he said it out loud. How many quarterbacks have you ever seen even do that? You know what I mean? Most of the time, if a guy like, for example, Josh Allen comes out after a loss and says, it was me, I got to be better, blah, blah, he does that in the playoffs. But he doesn't do that during the season when they lose. He talks about percentages and how they have to be better, and, blah, blah, blah. And, Derek always took it. He always took it. Made no excuses, said it's on me. Vicky Ginn and Corinna True. Hello. Appreciate the love on the stars. Always there. Supporting Raider Bear family page. And I appreciate the love, ladies. All right. Well, you know what, guys? That's my show. I still have a lot more to discuss. So I'm asking you, come back tomorrow night. I will be on again. I absolutely... I have so much more to give you on our defensive line and the offensive line we brought in and how I expect them to play. I'm just incredibly excited about the things they've done with our line. I wanted to focus on the defensive backfield tonight because I think our defensive backfield is going to be incredible. Eric Stokes is going to be incredible for us. I think that kid Dotson is going to fill the hole we lost at our nickel position. I just think that this Raider squad is going to be real nice. All right, that's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force. For all you do, the energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. Please like and subscribe. Please follow on YouTube. Please like the show. Share. If you care, you share a Raider Bear. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow night, Raider Nation. I got you back.